My motivational speech today is how to find calm during chaos. Finding your inner peace when life feels overwhelming. When everything feels like too much. Hi, everyone. I want you to imagine something. Your phone is ringing. Messages are coming in. The bills are waiting. Work is demanding more from you. Your responsibilities seems to multiply overnight. Someone you care about needs your attention. Your plans aren't working out. And somewhere in the middle of all of it, you realize you haven't had a moment to simple breathe. Have you ever felt like that? Like life is moving faster than you can keep up with. Like you're trying to solve 10 problems while three more are appearing. Like you are physically present, but mentally you are somewhere 1,000 miles away. If you have, you're not alone. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. More information, more productivity, more decisions, more expectations. And sometimes the hardest thing to find isn't money, it isn't success, it isn't even time, it's peace. But here's the truth I want you to remember today. You don't have to control everything around you to find calm within yourself. You don't need every problem solved before you can breathe. You don't need every question answered before you can have peace. And you don't need life to become completely quiet before you can calm down. Because sometimes the storm doesn't have to disappear. You simply have to learn how to stand steady while it passes. Today, I want to tell you a story about a woman named Elena. Her story may sound like the story of one person, but in many ways, it is the story of millions of us. The woman who couldn't slow down. Elena was known as the person who could handle anything. At work, she was dependable. At home, she was responsible. Whenever someone needed help, they called Elena. If a problem appeared, She solved it. If someone needed advice, she gave it. If something went wrong, she immediately went into action. Everyone admired her strength. Elena can handle anything. That was what people always said. And Elena believed them. She thought being strong meant never slowing down, never complaining, never saying no, never admitting she was overwhelmed. So she kept going. One morning, she woke up late. She rushed through breakfast. Her phone was already filled with notifications. She had an important meeting at work. Her car was almost out of gas. A family member called with a problem. Her manager sent an urgent email. Then, halfway to work, traffic stopped completely. Cars stretched for miles. Horns were sounding. People were becoming impatient. Elena looked at the clock. She was going to be late. Her heart began racing. She gripped the steering wheel. Everything is going wrong. Then her phone rang again. Another problem, another request, another demand. And suddenly, she couldn't take it anymore. She pulled it into a parking lot, turned off the engine, and sat there. Silence. For the first time that morning, nothing was demanding anything from her. She looked out the window and realized something. She wasn't just tired, she had forgotten how to be still. The storm inside the storm. That afternoon, Elena visited her grandmother. Her grandmother was sitting peacefully on the porch, watching the trees move in the wind. Elena sat beside her. I am overwhelmed, she finally admitted. Her grandmother didn't immediately respond. She simply watched the leaves moving. After a few moments, she asks, do you know why trees survive storms? Elena shook her head. They don't fight every drop of rain. They don't chase the wind. They don't try to stop the clouds. They stand. Elena looked at her. Her grandmother continued, You are being trying to control the storm. But some storms aren't yours to control. Those words hit Elena deeply because she realized something. She had been trying to control everything: other people's opinions, other people's problems, the future, the past, things she couldn't change, things she couldn't predict, things she couldn't possibly fix. And the harder she tried to control everything, the more exhausted she became. Lesson 1: Separate what you can control. My friends, one of the greatest sources of stress in life is spending energy on things we cannot control. You cannot control what someone thinks about you. You cannot control whether another person understands you. You cannot control yesterday. You cannot control tomorrow. You cannot control every outcome. You cannot control every circumstance, but you can control your response. You can control whether you pause before reacting. You can control whether you choose patience. You can control whether you place your attention. You can control whether you keep moving forward. And sometimes peace begins with a simple question: Is this something I can control? If the answer is yes, take action. If the answer is no, release what you cannot carry. Not because you don't care, but because you understand that your energy is valuable. The glass of water. Imagine holding a glass of water. You can hold it for a minute, no problem. You can hold it for an hour. Your arm begin to ache. Hold it all day, and eventually your muscles become exhausted. The weight of the glass hasn't changed. Your relationship with the weight has changed. Stress works the same way. Sometimes it's not about how much you are carrying, it's about how long you have been carrying it without putting it down. Some of you are carrying yesterday into today. You are carrying conversations that ended years ago. Mistakes you have already apologized for. Things you cannot change. People you cannot control. Outcomes that haven't happened yet. Put the glass down. Rest. Breathe. You are allowed to put something down without giving up. Lesson 2. Stop living in the future. One of the greatest thieves of peace is constantly living in tomorrow. What if this happens? What if I fail? What if they leave? What if I lose my job? What if everything goes wrong? Notice something about those questions. They are usually about things that haven't happened. And yet, we allow imaginary futures to steal real moment from us. The future deserves preparation, but it doesn't deserve peace. There is a difference between planning for tomorrow and living there. Prepare, but return to today. Because today is where your life is actually happening. The 5-minute pause. Alina began practicing something simple. Every morning, before touching her phone, she sat quietly for 5 minutes. No notifications, no emails, no news, no demands, just 5 minutes. She breathed slowly. She looked outside. She listened to the sound around her. At first, it felt uncomfortable. Her mind kept producing things she needed to do. But she continued. 5 minutes became 10. Eventually, she noticed something. The problems hadn't disappeared, but she was responding to them differently. She wasn't rushing into every situation. She wasn't reacting to every message. She wasn't allowing every inconvenience to steal her entire day. She had discovered something powerful. Calm is a skill, and skills can be practiced. Lesson 3: create space before you react. Not every situation deserves an immediate reaction. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is pause. Someone says something hurtful. Pause. You receive disappointing news. Pause. You are angry. Pause. You are afraid. Pause. Give yourself a moment between what happens and what you do next. That small space can change everything, because when you react immediately, emotion often makes the decision. When you pause, you give wisdom a chance to speak. Calm doesn't mean you don't care. There is something important we need to understand. Being calm does not mean being emotionless. It doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It doesn't mean ignoring your problems. It doesn't mean you aren't allowed to cry. It doesn't mean you should ask for help. Excuse me. It doesn't mean you shouldn't ask for help. Calm means you can acknowledge what you are feeling without allowing the feeling to control every decision. You can say, I am worried, and still move forward. I am disappointed, and still keep hope. I am tired, and still give yourself permission to rest. I am afraid, and still take the next step. That is emotional strength. Lesson 4: protect your inner environment. We spend so much time cleaning our homes. We organize our desk. We wash our cars. We clean our rooms. But how often do we clean our minds? Think about what you are consuming every day: news, arguments, social media, negative conversations, constant notifications, comparisons, fear, anger. Your mind absorbs what you repeatedly expose it to. You cannot fill your mind with chaos all day and expect peace to magically appear at night. Protect your attention. Take breaks from constant notifications. Spend time in nature. Listen to music that settles you. Read something meaningful. Talk to people who encourage you. Give yourself moments of silence. Peace requires protection. The day Elena finally understood. Months later, Elena experienced another difficult day. Her workload increased, a family problem appeared. Her plans changed unexpectedly. Everything that once would have overwhelmed her was happening again. But this time, she did something different. She stopped. She took a breath. She looked at the situation and asked, what can I control? She made a list. She handled what she could. She asked for help where she needed it. She let go of what wasn't hers to solve. Then she went home. The storm hadn't disappeared, but Elena had changed. She finally understood what her grandmother meant. You don't need to stop the storm. You need to learn how to stand in it. Lesson 5. Find your anchor. Every storm needs an anchor. For some people, it's faith. For others, it's family. For some, it's meditation, prayer, nature, music, journaling, or simple a quiet moment alone. Find what's ground you. Find what reminds you who you are when life becomes noisy. Your anchor might be a simple sentence. I will handle one thing at a time. I don't have to solve everything today. This moment will pass. I am stronger than this situation. I can take the next step. Sometimes one peaceful thought can interrupt an entire storm of negative thinking. The power of one breath. Right now, take a breath slowly and let it out. You don't need to solve your entire life in this moment. You only need to be here, this moment, this breath, this day. Sometimes we make life heavier because we are trying to carry tomorrow before we have finished carrying today. Put tomorrow down. You can pick it up when it arrives. For now, be here. Your life will have storms. There will always be storms. There will be unexpected bills, difficult conversations, disappointments, changes, losses, uncertainty, plans that don't work, people who disappoint you, days when nothing seems to go right. You cannot eliminate all of that, but you can build an inner foundation strong enough to withstand it. Think about a lighthouse. A lighthouse doesn't stop the ocean from producing waves. It doesn't tell the storm to calm down. It doesn't chase away the darkness. It simple stands and shines. That can be you. You can become the lighthouse in your own life. Not because the world is always peaceful, but because you have learned to carry peace within yourself. A challenge for today. So here is my challenge for the next 7 days. Give yourself 5 minutes of silence each morning before the phone, before social media, before the emails, before the demand of the day. Sit, breathe, reflect. Ask yourself what truly deserve my energy today. Then Ask, what can I release? You may be surprised by how much you have been carrying that never belonged to you in the first place. My final message. As I close today, I want you to remember Alina. Remember the woman who believed strength meant handling everything alone. Remember what she learned. Strength isn't carrying everything. Sometimes strength is knowing what to put down. Strength isn't reacting to everything. Sometimes strength is pausing. Strength isn't controlling everything. Sometimes strength is accepting what you cannot control. And strength isn't living without storms. It's learning how to remain steady when they arrive. So when chaos comes, breathe. When uncertainty arrives, pause. When you feel overwhelmed, take one thing at a time. When the world becomes loud, return to yourself. And when life feels like a storm, remember the tree. Remember the lighthouse. Remember the glass of water. And remember this: you don't need a calm life to experience inner peace. You need a calm center within yourself. The storm may come, the winds may blow, the waves may rise, but you can remain standing. You can breathe. You can choose. You can continue. And eventually, the storm will pass. The clouds will separate. The sun will return. And you will look back and realize something extraordinary. You didn't need to control the storm. You simply needed to discover the strength to stand through it. So today, give yourself permission to breathe. Give yourself permission to slow down. Give yourself permission to rest. Give yourself permission to release what you cannot control. And most importantly, give yourself permission to choose peace. Because Peace isn't always waiting for you somewhere in the future. Sometimes peace begins with the next breath you take. Thank you. And wherever life takes you, may you walk through the noise without losing your quiet. May you face the storm without losing your center. And may you always remember the world can be chaotic around you without becoming chaotic within you. Stay grounded, stay hopeful, stay present, and keep going. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. If you love my motivational speech, please subscribe, like. Have a wonderful day.